Hey guys, today I am bringing you a video about online dating. Specifically, why it's hard for a Christian to date online. If you've tried it, then you definitely already know the struggle and I'm preaching to the choir. If you haven't, then here are my top 5 reasons why it's hard to date online as a Christian. So number 1, and these are not in any particular order, they are all valid and important. But my first one is going to be, I've always kind of said that I feel like men that are dating online, a lot of them, maybe not all, play this kind of like a numbers game, like where they're talking to a bunch of women at one time and, they're not particularly trying to find that one person, but, they think that it's cool and it's an ego stroke for them to be talking to multiple women. For example, Harvey from my deployment talk video. He was talking to someone else while he's way in Afghanistan, and I'm here not even living my life, and he's talking to someone else and winds up getting that second person pregnant. So, yeah, I might have dodged a bullet in one way, but it was a shady move. Another one, Christian from my Why It's Hard to Date in 2018, kind of the same thing. It was like he and I dated off and on for like straight, like off and on. I know that sounds crazy, but straight, like at a block of time, off and on, like for about 9 months, just like kind of going back and forth. And I think a lot of the reason is that me and him met on POF, by the way. So he kept talking to people on POF. I had no idea for a really long time because things were so good and we were vibing so good that I was like, this might be the one, so that's kind of the mind frame that I was in with him, but obviously it didn't turn out that way. And so what I kind of got when I found out that he was still on it, what I kind of concluded, and I know women will assume, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right because I have good intuition, is that he was getting shady with me, like when he started talking to other people and when he found someone else, attractive or interesting or whatever, like he wanted to meet them. So he would start acting shady, he would just go away and just not call, not text or whatever. And like basically he would pick a fight, so that he could go and do what he wanted to do. Number 2, this is a really important one. The internet is a scary place. I mean, you never really know who you're talking to. And I've run into a couple of people who had like multiple profiles, and I don't know if someone entirely different is running their profiles with their pictures, or if, they just have multiple accounts because they got locked out of theirs. Who knows? But when they're both active at the same time, you would assume that, if you were on yesterday and then you're on under a different one the next day, then I would assume that, maybe there's just scam or whatever. So internet's a scary place. Another thing that happened to me and scared the bejesus out of me was that this one guy was lying about his age, he was lying about his name, and then when I finally was able to get his name, because I'm gonna Google everybody. I'm gonna look up the county they live in, make sure they don't have a record. I'm Googling you. So FYI, for anybody in the future, you're getting Googled, so don't even play with me. So this one guy ended up having like serious charges and scared the crap out of me. I was like, oh my God, Lord, if you don't let him kill me, like I will never date online again. So number 3 is that a lot of people on their profiles list that they're a Christian. So you're trying to do the filter, you're trying to say, oh, okay, they're a Christian. Even on Christian Mingle, people are saying they're a Christian. But then you get on to, talking to them or whatever, and they don't even go to church. They don't really seem like they have any background, at all. They don't even appear to be saved or born again, whichever one you want to say. So, even Christian Mingle, you have to be careful of. I mean, it's crazy. That's why it's such a hard not life. And then there's a lot of people that are separated, you know, I'm sorry, but if you say you're a Christian and you're separated and you're trying to date, that's already a red flag for me, so that's not gonna happen. So basically, I feel like I've run into so many people that are saying they're Christians, but then they're really not Christians. They're really not about that life. They're not, you know, on their walk with God. They're just on their walk with the world. And so, you know, everybody knows that those are two different things. Like, believing in God and being a Christian are two completely different things. If you're a Christian, you know the difference. If you're not, maybe you don't. You should. So I implore you to, you know, read the Bible once in a while. Fourth reason, and maybe the most common one, and I'm sure other people have had this issue. A lot of the profiles say, you know, I want to date, but nothing too serious. And then you get a lot of men that you're talking to, and they're like, well, you know, I don't really want a girlfriend. Like, I'm not really looking for a relationship. But, you know, if one happens to come out of this, then I'll be okay with that. So basically, that's the trick because you know you have no intentions of being in a relationship 9 times out of 10. You probably know that you're not going to maybe meet your future wife online. You might even already have a husband, wife, whatever at home, and so you're online talking about you want to date but nothing serious. Just come right out and say that you just want to hook up. Like, that's really what the issue is. Like, there should be a selection on every single site. I think there are on some, but on every single site saying, I just want to hook up. So we don't waste our time. And number 5, I really feel like this is the bigger one. I know that I said that these were in no particular order. However, everyone, I feel like, is looking for the wrong thing. I think that that's where 99% of us go wrong on online dating, especially if you're a Christian. Because what happens is you're looking at these profiles of these guys and you're like, oh. And so you're like, you know, feeling, you know, well, he's got a good job. He's got a nice car. He's, you know, got his own house. He's, you know, this and that. And he's handsome. And he's saying that he's well endowed. Like, I've literally seen that on a profile before. And I was like, okay, next, swipe left. So really interesting, but I think that we're really looking for the wrong thing a lot of the time. And I think as Christians, you know, because it is, so, I feel like, so much harder for us to find the men or the women that we're looking for, I think that we will compromise on our faith to talk to, date, or whatever, someone because they believe in God. You know, they might believe in God, however, they're not a Christian and they're not walking in that lifestyle or whatever you want to say. So we'll kind of take the pieces that are really good and kind of focus on that a lot of the time. So for instance, so here are some things that we tell ourselves as Christians dating online. Well, he's not a Christian, but he believes in God, and you know, he could go to church with me. He even said he's willing to go to church with me. So you know what? I can change him. Another example, he has a nice car and he seems like he's got his crap together. However, maybe he's real materialistic, and the last thing you want is someone that's materialistic. One, I like to be the cuter one in the relationship. And so if someone's real flashy and someone's real, you know, like, oh, look at me, like, I'm just not even into that at all. Like, that's a red flag to me. Like, I can't deal with a man that's high maintenance. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that's a red flag for me. Maybe the most popular one is he's got a really good job, but he's got like 5 kids too. And here's one for you men. Well, she's pretty and she's got a nice body, but her personality sucks. Like, absolutely sucks. Like, she's got the pretty girl complex up here, like just way out of control. You know, like, yeah, she might be pretty. Yeah, she might be good arm candy. Yeah, she might, you know, have a nice body or whatever you want to say. But she sucks in every other way. I think that men, you know, they gravitate towards that. Like, oh, she's got a nice butt, or oh, she's this, or oh, she's that, or oh, did you see this? Oh my God, did you see her? Da, 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 da. Like, I mean, I've heard men talk, so I know that this goes down like this, but I mean, men will sit up and go for somebody physically and their whole personality sucks. And so it's like, it doesn't end up working out because eventually they start being ugly to you because said person has a crappy personality and the two have to go together. So you ignore, you know, the other girl over here that's not showing her butt and, you know, go for Big Booty Judy over here. And then you're back to square one because you know Big Judy wasn't going to work out in the first place. Dating in 2018 is so hard. And if you're someone like me, I mean, I'm not from Florida originally, and so I don't have that baseline of friends and things like that. It's been really hard for me to meet people being from New York and coming down to Florida and trying to find people that get me. I think that's been my hardest thing. And, you know, men, I think, are gonna try a little bit harder than just women are. You know, another woman trying to be friends with you, you know, once one thing happens, and this has happened to me, you know, you try to get friends, and then, you know, you find out crappy things about a friend, and it's like, do I really need friends that bad? I don't. I don't. So, you know, I've tried to have friends in the past. It's kind of not worked out. So we've just quietly broke up with each other. So, I mean, it is really tough. You know, obviously it's easier to relate to men because men will go along with the crazy stuff that you like just because they like you. So it's a completely different story. So, I mean, it's just so hard for you to sit up and find like a good quality friend. And, you know, so I don't know. I feel like for me, romantic relationships have really been the only successful, you know, friendships that I've had being down here. And so that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. And so I think that in our desperation, a lot of the time we will settle and we will leave ourselves open to being with the wrong people. And I definitely feel like that was true for me. I would assume other Christian women probably have the same struggles because of all the things that I mentioned. Like, we have so many things against us, and it's like, we can't just go for anybody because that somebody might really just bring us down worse than where we already are. So it's not a good idea for you to compromise. For anybody that is out there having these similar struggles or any different ones, definitely comment below and leave me some comments about the things that you've run into. I know I've run into a ton more than I jotted down today, but I mean, I do feel like hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps. So we'll see how that goes. Like I mentioned in my last video, I am dating someone that I met online who is really a Christian, who does actually go to church, who, you know, I don't even need to say, you know, will you pray for me? And he'll tell me that he's done that because he knows that I had a bad day, and he knows things that are going on with my dad and, you know, just life in general. So, I mean, that's an amazing feeling. It's just so powerful. So, hopefully this works out, and hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel for you all too. Like I said, I've definitely had my share of crazy stories with online dating. So if you guys have too, definitely leave me a comment below and let me know what yours are, so that, you know, misery loves company. You know, that's the best thing I can say for that. But if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna be doing different topics every week. Now that I've stopped my saga for the time being. I'm hoping this one doesn't end up in that saga group. We're doing good so far, so we'll see. But Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. And like I said, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel for future videos and hit the bell button, and then that'll let you know every time I post a new video. Thanks, guys.